Hey, welcome to the Partner Home Loans Leadership Sit Down. I tell you, we got a real fun one for you here today. So we're going to spend some time with the Metal America guys in just a minute, but Tony, I got to say, what's this, our third podcast here, right?
Third or fourth, yeah.
I can call you co-host or maybe I'm your co-host. I don't know how this is going to work here. Right?
I'll leave you as the host.
Okay, good. So we're going to bring in the Metal America guys. And, I think, you've been working with them for a little bit and, what they're doing, particularly what we'll talk about today is the Barndominium space. And I won't steal their thunder, but, your idea to have them on and, tell me what you think you want to kind of get to on this one. And, before we bring the guys on and.
Yeah, well, so I think the term barndominium is probably a foreign term to a lot of folks, but becoming less foreign, especially based on the work that Colin, Blake, and the team at Metal America are doing on social media. That the amount of inquiries and interest, I follow them on social media, is really incredible. They're drawing a ton of attention to a product that folks are probably pretty unaware of prior. We're super happy to partner with them and offer financing solutions for Barndominiums and some of the other products that they sell. But, today's conversation, this product itself solves for a lot of the challenges that we're seeing in the housing market. And the demand so far has been overwhelming. The interaction with the clients that we've spoke with who are looking at Barndominiums with Metal America have been really, really excited.
I agree.
About it. I'm anxious to get
I agree. So
it.
let's not waste any time. Let's get them on. Welcome, Colin. Welcome, Blake. From Metal America, you guys are doing some pretty incredible stuff here, So as Tony mentioned, the affordable housing crisis, I entered the Barndominium, right? So I won't steal your thunder. Tell me kind of how you guys got started, and then we'll kind of lean into what you guys offer, maybe show the audience around, your site and stuff. But, I'll let whichever one of you want to take it first.
I appreciate you having us on, Sean and Tony. It's a pleasure to be here on the third podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of boomerang it back to you. Do you want to hear the story of how this started or kind of just a little bit more about the Barndominiums?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear how it started.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Give me a brief how it started. Why not?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. Well, I guess we'll take it back to all the way where Blake and I are originally from. Blake and I are originally from Mankato, Minnesota. So I grew up with a cornfield across from my home, right? So that's where we come from. And it's an anomaly of a city. It's a decent sized city, about 55,000 people, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And where I grew up, my high school had no windows. I remember I grew up to school and we graduated. We had about 400 kids my freshman year, and we graduated about 250, right? So the rest got, sent away and who knows what, right? And I have a ton of stories from that. Some of them probably aren't PG, so I don't need to get too much into that. But at the time, you would see world star fights in the hallways, etc. Stuff was what we thought was normal, right? And Blake went to a different school, but and that's how I got to kind of meet Blake. But that's where we came from, and then decided, hey, I think Blake decided this too. We got to get the heck out of Dodge. So when we go out, Blake goes out to Northwestern, I go out to BC, right? And go to college and whatnot. And then Blake and I became really good friends over COVID, right? COVID happened, the whole world ended, right? And Blake and I were hanging out during COVID and we were talking about all these things of like, hey, we want to start something. Flash forward to the year 2024. And I start working with this guy who's selling metal buildings. And at first I was a little skeptical. I was like, okay, I can help you out, but I don't know, a ton about metal buildings yet at the time, right? I grew up from a city that had a lot of them, but didn't know a whole lot about them. And they started going really, really, really well. A ton of people were reaching out, wanting barndominiums, garages, etc. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we need to totally get into this. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to call all these guys that are doing barndominiums or metal buildings and talk to them and say, hey, I can work for you. We can set something up and market these all across the US, right? So I call 400 of them, and every single one rejected me. It's like, no way in hell, Colin, that I'm working with you. And one of them asked me what Facebook was. The other scoffed at me when I was mentioning AI. And after getting rejected for the 400th time, I kind of sat back in my chair and was a little defeated. But then I thought, you know what? Every single one said no. So let's go and let's go and do this ourselves. So then we started doing it. I reached out to Blake and I was like, okay, if you want to go and start something great, you need to surround yourself with people smarter than yourself. So then I go and I contact Blake. I'm like, hey, Blake, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up a bunch of barndominiums. We're going to take this over across the US. There's a ton of people who want them. Will you come join me? And I'm not sure what Blake's first reaction was, but I think it might have been hell no. But then I kept pestering him and I kept calling him. And I coincidentally called Blake. I think he was having like a down day at work, and I hit him at just the right time. And I was like, man, this would have been, it's perfect for you to come join Metal America. And he said, you know what? I'm all in. Quit his job and joined, came all in. And then we started marching from there. And what we found was a ton of people wanted these metal home barndominiums, but there was no one really providing the full turnkey. So what Blake and I decided to do, along with a bunch of others from our team, is okay, let's really double down and focus on these barndominiums because we have so many people reaching out to us and we care a ton about, making the customer happy. So that's what we did. And we marched along and started.
Great story, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to the meat and potatoes here and show this off. But great story. Anything, Blake, you want to add to that before we go into kind of taking a look around? Or
yeah, no, it's been an incredible journey, and I joined on a bit later, but I don't think I was all in on one call, but he did catch me on a bad project, and I'd been staying at the office till multiple weeks. We had multiple weeks more, and remember he called me, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm like actually thinking about coming to join Metal America, and he heard that, and he did pester me for like 2 weeks, and at the end of that project, I thought about it. I'm like, dude, I think I'm in. Give me a few days, and came and joined and haven't looked back, truthfully.
Well, every good recruiting story where you're recruiting somebody worth their salt kind of goes like that, right?
I have curiosity, where'd the name come from?
Yes, when I was working, I remember I was sitting on the floor, and we wanted to kind of go after like the middle part of America. And it just came like, hey, why don't we call this Metal America? And everyone was like, oh, that's so great. Let's do that. And we were like, yes, there it is. That's the one.
That's awesome.
So let's jump to the site, right? Let's take a look around, right? So this is your not your homepage, but your Barndominium page, right? And if you call it, I'll drive, and you kind of show me what you think's important. I'll tell you before you even start, I look at this and go, man, these are homes, right? Isn't it important? This is a house.
Yeah. Basically, it's just a single family home. Yeah. Now I can help you scroll through this. So what you're looking right there is the slate and stone. It's just a classic barndominium home. Now, what makes most of these pretty special is they kind of have that rustic metal look, right? And because it's metal, it's more durable. It lasts longer than wood. And the beauty and the reason probably why they call it a barndominium is one, the metal part, but two is because a large part of the barndominium is a garage space. Now, not every time, but majority of the time. So if you look at a lot of these, you'll see the garage takes up a large majority of the space. And for those of you who are in construction know that every square footage for every part of the home is different. A kitchen price per square foot is much, much higher than a garage price per square foot. So because of that, and because of, what we're doing a little bit with the metal and the interior on the inside, these are very, very affordable, especially when it comes to price per square foot, because we're, not playing with numbers, but, focusing on the things that people really care about, not the ones that cost a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm having fun just kind of walking around here. And, please, if you think there's information or places you want me to touch here that folks should know about, I assume we'll get to kind of how to engage with you guys if folks are thinking about this.
Definitely, definitely. So if you wanted to back out there and go to the Bonnie and Clyde as you scroll down, so you can click on buildings and then go to Barndominiums and then scroll down. You'll see one called the Bonnie and Clyde. There it is on the right side. Right. So let's say you wanted to do the Bonnie and Clyde. And the reason I picked this one is because it's one that's a little bit more creative, and you can have two metal buildings in one that gets turned into a barndominium. That one on the right is a garage. If you wanted to see what the interior looked like, you can scroll through those photos at the bottom there. And you can scroll through those as I keep talking. If somebody wanted one of these, basically what you would do is you'd reach out to us, and we're just going to ask you a bunch of questions because we want to build your dream home. So we want to know exactly what you're looking for. And then once we kind of know what you're looking for, we're going to completely design the colors on the outside. And then your probably favorite part is the interior. So if you could scroll up to the top, you'll see a resources page, Sean.
Yep.
And click on Barndominium checklist. So then what we like to do with the customer is say, hey, what we want to do is walk you through this checklist. So if you scroll down, and you can kind of get a rough idea of what's going to go on the interior, right? What type of insulation you want. As you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see, what type of windows you want, the window types. And then if you scroll a little bit more, you'll see, hey, what kind of countertops, what kind of wall.
This is
kind
outstanding.
Of finish, right? So you'll go through this and you basically get to design your entire interior of your home fully customized, even what kind of doorknobs you want, right? Do you want electric or gas fireplace? Do you want the crown molding trim? What kind of walls? Maybe you want shiplap. Maybe you want tongue and groove, or you want to go with the classic, metal framing. Same with the wall colors, right? And wall colors is obviously, you can always go to, somewhere like Sherwin-Williams and paint your own walls, of course, but flooring, etc. Right? So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is pick your standard build, give us a call, and we're going to basically walk you through this, make sure you have everything you want on the inside, and we're going to make you a floor plan, get you set up with whatever, engineering you need for local codes. If you need it stamped by an engineer, we can do that as well. And then hopefully set you up with partner home loans if you need financing. And then we get you set up from there. It's pretty simple.
These are really, really impressive looking, and you that was a good segue. Thank you. But Tony, let's talk about like the financing on this stuff really quickly, right? Because a lot of people don't know how to connect the dots, on getting a barndominium or something like this, to the degree that there is anything like this, and secure the financing on it. Like, is this the same as like a regular mortgage, or how are we doing this here?
Yeah, so a couple things. One, it's like a regular mortgage. It's not like a regular home. And what I mean by that is the financing on it is the same if you were to build a stick-built home, in that you would do construction financing. So consumers would either have to locate a piece of property to acquire and build the property on. Maybe they already own a piece of property that they're going to build the property on, or maybe they're going to add it to a piece of property that they already own with another existing home on it. So there's lots of options. And number two, it's done as a construction loan where you work with a approved GC, general contractor, or builder who will come in, take the product from Metal America, work with you. And this is where it becomes not an ordinary home, in that you go and buy an existing home or even a builder's track built home. You can pick out kitchen cabinet colors, and you can pick some of the interior stuff, but it's not a custom home. Custom homes come with a pretty significant price tag. A track build home, again, you've got minor flexibilities you can adjust. This is a blank canvas. So a consumer's ability to go in and custom build the house to their exact specifications, what they want their residential portion to look like, how many bedrooms, size of bathrooms, size of kitchens, size of living spaces. And then the really cool part is what they want the barn space or the garage type space to be, whether it's they could be auto collectors, they could be woodworkers, they could be self-employed contractors. They could be artists. They could be a whole bunch of things. They could be aspiring basketball players or hockey players that want to put indoor, arena type things in their house, swimming pools. They can do anything in that piece, which no other standing real estate has that. Now, maybe you find a house that has some cool features, but this allows you to create all the features yourself. And the beautiful part is it's done as a construction loan. So you design it with your architect or your builder. You outfit it exactly the way that you want, interior and exterior. And when you're done, you have a home that is exactly the way that you want to your specifications. So it really allows people to not only make this their first home, but potentially their only and forever home.
Yeah.
Because it meets all of their needs. And then financing. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I may add, I think an example might help. I'm working on a project, the guy here in Minnesota, and he wants a half basketball court in the garage, 6-car garage, and a mezzanine above that has an office and a workout space. And then in the actual part of the home, granted, the garage is probably about 4 times bigger, just 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a kitchen, and just a dining room area, right? So that's an example of what you can do, right? You can put a basketball court, you can put a 6-car garage, put some lifts in there, then have a mezzanine above and put an office space and a workout space. All that is totally doable.
And finding that in an existing home would be nearly impossible.
100%. So
right.
Really quick, I mean, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. Maybe we'll go through maybe some of the questions that our audience might have. I guess you could call them FAQs, right? And maybe you can talk through them, Colin or Blake. But how fast can someone get into one of these?
Someone can get into one of these it depends, right? How long it takes for us to design it and go through. We want to make this perfect for you, so we're willing to take the time to make sure the design is right. But once we have everything set in stone in place, everything you need designed exactly to your specifications, what the inside, what the exterior looks like, and you have, financing set up. Once we're ready to go and start the project, it takes anywhere probably about 6 months, depending on where you live. If you're trying to set this up in Minnesota in January, I don't know if that's quite possible.
Yeah, well, there's certain parts of the country where, trying to get something like this built would be a little challenging, I imagine.
Yeah, you got to wait till the summer for sure.
Yeah. So, and that brings up my next question is like, what does the optimal land scenario, like purchase scenario, look like?
Can I go back to that point real quick?
Yeah.
Because weather always plays. If you're looking at new construction, weather always plays a factor. Obviously foundations and so forth, the weather has to be favorable, but from zero to a framed enclosed building is much faster with a barndominium than a stick-built home. So the ability to get an enclosed structure protected from the weather where the work is being done inside of a closed structure is much faster. Right? I would argue
exactly.
that
it is.
The speed to market is faster.
Yeah, if we had a stick builder on with us right now and we asked him that question, 6 months would never come out of his mouth.
No, definitely
not. It is much faster. And for the construction folks out there, we're looking to partner with general contractors, of course. Your crew does tend to like it more because if you're in a cold place and your crew gets to work inside, they absolutely love it because it's already framed out. So the interior is what takes the longest part, right? And when you already have the shell up on top of the concrete, it's really easy for the team because 1, they can move faster, and 2, everyone wants to be on the job where you're inside in the winter.
That's right.
Well, I'm not going to hold you to a price point, but we know that it's generally much more affordable, than a comparable stick built, for example, that's new, right?
Most definitely. And everyone's least favorite answer is it depends, but the garage space, as I mentioned before, is cheaper per square foot than the interior finish out. So how big a garage space you want, right? That is cheaper than, if you want for some reason, I'm making this up, a 2,000 square foot kitchen, well, that might cost you quite a bit of money, right? So the answer is it depends. But for example, something like, let's say if you scroll down a little bit, let's do that Scarlet Voss up there. You're looking at anywhere from 220 to 340,000. Like I said, it depends on what goes on the inside. And the bigger you get, the cheaper it is per square foot.
Wow. Well, Listen, I tell you, guys, you're doing some amazing work here. I think to let folks know, kind of, do they need to own the land, or do you have land already and you get it on it? Can it be on your parents' land? We brought up, sort of the ADU culture where folks are getting things added to existing properties. I could see this being a fit in that bucket a little bit, right? But what's the quintessential situation for a buyer? Do most of your customers already own the land, or?
I would say, I want to add this before as well, is the price point of these homes is incredibly affordable, especially for the timeline to get it up for completion and the creativity you can have in that process. It's not, we do have a lot of customers who think they can have a barndominium for $5,000. And unfortunately, that is not the case. I guess the ideal situation you would have is, to come partner with Partner Home Loans and have a substantial amount of assets to put down a small but a reasonable down payment, and also, yes, own the land on the property and have somewhat of an idea in mind and maybe have some connections in your local town. But that's about it, really. I mean, we're pretty flexible and we're willing to work with whoever comes in.
Well, perfect. I'll tell you what, guys, this is incredible. I think this is going to be, a popular show here. You'll get a lot of people to watch this, spring out some ideas, about, their entry level home ownership plans. For example, you're helping out with affordability. I just can't tell you, how spectacular. I tell you, going around the site, those are incredible, right? It dispels the myth, that you're inside this big metal box. They're really nice looking houses when you think about it, right? So, Tony, you got any last thoughts on this?
Yeah, we talked a lot about it being a first-time home buyer solution, but it's really a solution for anyone. I mean, I've lived in the same home for 26 years, and I look at this and think, man, I could build something really cool that would meet a lot of the needs that my house that I've been in for the last 26 years didn't have, that I would have liked to have had. So I think this is a solution for everyone. I think that the entry point from a cost perspective is one really great benefit versus a traditional home. I think the customization ability that you don't have when buying an existing home is another one. And I think just the overall ability to have exactly what you want in a home makes this an amazing alternative to what else is out in the marketplace. I can't say it enough how much I admire the work that you guys have done in a short period of time. And I can tell you, with the interaction that we've had so far with the clients that have found your site and interacted with your site and reached out for more information, the excitement is real. The demand has certainly been tested and proven that there is a big market for this. So you guys are on the cutting edge, I believe, of what's going to be a really game-changing style of ownership and home in the future.
I couldn't agree more, Tony. Nice. Colin, Blake, thank you both. Great work. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys grow, and thanks for being on.
I appreciate you, and I just want to add one thing. Tony, I appreciate that. If there's any general contractor, sub of a general contractor out there and wants to work with us, more than willing, take you in with open arms. Or if you're a customer that wants to get their dream home built, contact Blake or I or anyone at Metal America. We'd love to get it set up for you. We got a bunch being set up or have already been set up across the country, and we'd love to show you what those look like as well. Appreciate you, Sean.
Fantastic. We'll see you guys later. Hey, Tony, this is our third show. Metal America, those guys are great, man. They know what they're doing, and the product is pretty hot, man. I was impressed
Very
looking
much
at
so.
that. Yeah. So look, we're gonna go ahead and sign off, right, folks? The leadership sit down, Partner Home Loans. All right, we have what you need for your mortgage financing. We also have what you need if you're in this business and you want to work as an LO. With some really, really gorgeous products to sell, the wider range, the vanilla stuff, of course we do, but we also do unique stuff like what you saw today, right? So like the video, share it, all right? Get in the comments, play around in there. We'll be in there looking for you too, all right? Until next time, we'll catch you later.